The Sarlacc Digest, the long-running live stream podcast digesting Star Wars topics for over 1,000 years. Join them for all the latest news, rumors, and theory crafting with none of the drama or the bull. Live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time on YouTube. And don't forget the Sarlacc Toy Chest, covering all the newest Star Wars toy releases and news from Hasbro, Hot Toys, Jakks Pacific, and more. Live every other Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Be there and keep it nerdy.
PlasticNews.com. All the latest from Hollywood. Toys. Gaming. Comics. And anything pop culture. PlasticNews.com. Don't forget the IQ. PlasticNews.com.
He was the first person to say, we should put comic books in plastic cases and grade them. He told George Lucas to hold on to the merchandising rights, and 3 3/4 would be the perfect scale for the figures. When the owner of Playmates Toys asked him how to compete with the big guys, he gave him his extra copy of TMNT #1. He is the most important collector in the universe.
I don't always need a grail, but when I do, I go to holygrailtoys.com. Keep hunting, my friend.
You're watching a Syndicate program.
Well, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. This is Good Morning Toy Box, something like that. I think I'll learn how to say it. I am your host, Chet Maddox, along with Alexander Thunderous Storm, and it is Friday, March 6th. 10 a.m. on the West Coast and 1 p.m. on the East Coast. We have a lot to get over. This week was, I don't know if it was necessarily busy, but there's some interesting things that had been happening. Mr. Storm, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing all right this morning, man. Getting ready to start the day. It's a big day. It's officially called Syndicate Friday.
That is, that is right. We will get into that. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
I just wanna have fun. Come and pick me up, meet me at the spot. Up all night till the sunrise. Pop back cool, get ready for the ride. Gonna feel good. Gonna feel good.
Oh man. Well, before we get into it, let's see who's hanging out with us this morning really quick.
Yep, rolling it back, and we've got Star Wars and Bruce. Said the Bane and Joker. Yeah, the Bane and Joker DC, closely followed by the Inquisitor. Thanks, SKN Discord team. For the links, you all rock. All right, there you go. Max Rebo experience. Will Baroness be giving a weekend report today? I don't think so, man. Traffic on the I-710.
Yes, it does look good. You're good.
Yep, it does. It says, good morning from Dark Moocher. Good morning from Dark Moocher. Commander Bly's got us in this morning. Good afternoon from the future. Like I said, Rhino Hobbies. Good morning, SKN. Good morning to you,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Don't want some, better not be some. Happy weekend, everyone. There you go. There you go. Got Dr. Brentley in this morning. That's right. We got a doctor in the house. If you're having heart complications, you can.
I'm sick of all the pre-orders.
Yeah. We got from the other side of the United States, CS the director. Good day,
Good morning,
everyone.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good day. Let me make sure that up. Got here go. Smog this morning. Good morning, sir.
What's going on, man? Good to see you in the morning.
And then we got Michelle and Little Beastie this morning.
Yeah.
You know, hello, my favorite panel of Mandalorian. It's me and my daughter made it to the watch this together. Veggie burgers in hand. All right. Sadly, no green milk.
That is awesome. Well, we have a lot we got to get into before we do the weekend review. We're gonna hit you like we always do with the weekend review action figures. And what do we got going on here?
We've got this morning. We've got some Star Wars Black Series that dropped. So we're gonna let you guys know that because that's the most biggest priority right now. If you actually haven't ordered those, from there we got some Mezco stuff that popped in this week. Mondo, Marvel Legends, SH Monster Arts is coming in the house. Boss Fight Figures or Boss Fight Studios has got some stuff for us. SH Figure Arts and the NBA are colliding. Super 7 and Mattel WWE. Then we're going to break down the Syndicate Discord and network updates. We got some upcoming events that we're going to talk to you about, and then preview because today is Syndicate Friday. That's right. It's not just SKN doing it. We've got our friends over at Blitz Transmissions. Tommy's going to have a live stream. So you're getting 3 Syndicate shows today. Good Morning Toy Box, Blitz Transmission live stream. Then from there, you've got Pixel, Plastic, and Ink later tonight. So Good Morning Toy Box is the actual begin show for 2 other shows today instead of just one, man.
That's right. We kick it off. And like always, this is your week in review. Oh man, there was a lot happening with the Black Series, and I would say that I don't think that a lot of people were expecting it, at least from my perspective. Now, I know you're more involved over there on the toy chest, but it seemed kind of like a shocker throughout the Discord. What do you think?
They did kind of just drop this a couple of days before, early in the week. No one knew that this stuff was coming out, and then of course, obviously, there's individuals out there more in tune, like Yak Face and a couple of people that kind of first alerted us. But it wasn't like, normally they have like a week or two and they say, hey, this is coming then, or stuff just kind of dropped. So I think they've been doing that a little bit with the Star Wars stuff more and more. Is that same thing with the Mondo and Grogu. They kind of waited a little late in the game to try to get it out, and everyone thought it should have been rolled out a little earlier. So Hasbro team, I know they got authorizations and things they can do and they can't do. It's one of those things that they're gonna have to work on a little bit better. And it says I just ordered the Moto TMNT Skeletor Shredder thrown off of Mattel Creations, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, that's cool.
That's actually a really good figure they did. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, it absolutely is. All right, so we'll jump right into this. And again, if you're, underneath a rock somewhere, you didn't hear it this week. That's why we're here to give you the weekend review. We've got the, can you pull that up a little bit more? Because it's kind of like the ticker's kind of blocking a little bit of the, there you go. Thank you. The Star Wars Black Series pre-orders dropped in from Darth Maul Shadow Lord, which is going to be dropping on Disney Plus soon. And a lot of excitement, man. There's a lot of excitement from these characters, especially, just seeing the series. I did get complaints about Darth Maul that people said it wasn't a brand new Maul. They've used, they were using some parts and situations that they've done before. This is Hasbro. They're gonna do a mold once or twice. I think it's a nice representation on some things. The soft goods. This is one where I think is, hey, what's up? Well,
welcome in. Welcome in.
Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. But I think they could have done a little bit better with this one with the soft goods, I believe,
Look, this is my thing. This is like Judge Dredd. I love him. If you ever watch like the later shows, Judge Dredd usually says this, like, I have my one figure, like I don't need to keep collecting whatever. Like you have to understand Cape held hostage. Yeah. So you have to understand that they are going to reuse parts unless it's a completely reimagined. But like I told you, and then I told some of the other guys, if it's not at least 50% reuse, it's not Hasbro, right?
There you go.
So, but for me, the way that I look at it is like, yes, I get frustrated if it's obviously, and perfect example, I was frustrated at that 2-pack with for weapon for like X23 and I forget. Anyways. My point is that like I don't have a Maul figure, so for me this is one of the ones where it's like, oh cool, it comes with the cape. I don't have a Maul figure, don't really care about the reuse. It's got thigh swivel. And like if this was like the problem I have is when they go, hey, here's a maximum series, and you can tell it's a reuse. Like that's not. I
don't mind sometimes when they let it be known. I think when they try to pass off figures and they aren't really stating that, hey, you know what, this is a completely different. Disney build a droid pre-order today. Also, oh yeah, you definitely want to get that because that's going to fly out. Also, Max Rebo, let us know if that. I think is that you just do Disney Store, I believe, right? So,
I think so.
Yeah, but this is where I kind of think that if you are going to do a reuse, then you've got to up soft goods. You got to do something where it stands out. And I think, like I said again, the tattered, it's. I don't think that's not the best use of soft goods. It doesn't look great. It looks like they just clipped up an existing cape that they had, and they kind of did it. It looked a little lazy on it.
This cape is definitely an afterthought. I do think that this cape is where the justification comes in to like release it. If that makes sense. Did Maul get Balin Skull's orange blades? I mean, maybe, he probably stole them. Maul's not very nice. The soft goods look cheap, but some TVC collectors are wishing they got one with their re-release. Yep, that's right. Disney Line and Parks only. Okay. So, yeah, like I think you could upgrade this. You can upgrade this very quickly with some black floral wire. That can add like articulation to it. So,
no, and I think that to me is always. I think there's a little kickback, Steve, because I'm starting to hear that. That to me is always the one thing. Again, you've got to, if you're going to do it, there's not a problem with doing it because we know that it's done through every company out there. You just got to make sure that you're upping it a little bit, because if I previously have this figure, then I want what stands out from it, what makes it the thing that I'm going to look and say I would buy it a second time for this. And I think they didn't do that very well for Darth Maul. But there are some people out there that they don't have Darth Maul, and this is going to be a featured character in their collection. So it works off. The Rook cast, which also, if it didn't state this, actually all figures are for $27.99. They are still available through the Hasbro Pulse and a couple other apps. As of about 2 hours ago. So but again, I think here's an example of, like I said, coming up with another figure and trying to do something that worked in a line. We get some new figures. I don't think a lot of people are upset about this. Either way, I still think it looks rad. Maul is such an awesome character. Look, I think Maul, Darth Vader, there's a couple of Sith that you do want to see reissue time and time again, So this,
I mean, like I think it's good. Hayes says, "I wish they would have given us that cape with Maul repack in the vintage collection." Yeah, so like it's cool. I agree with Chad's. It's Chad's comment earlier too. Like 50% reuse is Hasbro. Yeah, it is what I mean. Hasbro makes so many figures at mass production as well as like Mattel, but like Hasbro. You're not gonna not use what you've already paid for. Like it's it's crazy to think that everything should be brand new all the
Yeah.
time ever.
Yeah.
Like you are living in Delulu land, thinking that that's an actual thing that can happen in the toy industry.
Yeah, and this is where they get now. Look, here's the example of the 11 brother. Great cape, great soft goods. I know they're using the Inquisitors all use the same lightsaber, but it still looks rad, man. This is a great character. I'm looking forward to seeing this series. Again, I always think that one thing that Lucasfilm does extremely well, their animation. They do their animation extremely well, man. So,
they do it very well. What's Rhino said, it's pretty telling when Maul doesn't sell out on pulls from the jump. Yeah, I mean, I think people have enough Maul figures. That's definitely something else. I will make one comment though about Maul's cape, because like we haven't seen the animation, so we don't know if his cape is literally that trashy.
No, I saw it. I saw it in the animation. It is. It's just that the way they cut it from the factory doesn't represent as well, like this is one where
this one, like the 11th.
Yeah, brother. They kind of they did the clips, but I think this is one is I understand it costs a little bit more money, but if they would have maybe sewn in around the cape and featured it at the bottom and the tether a little bit better, that would have worked. Instead, it looked like somebody just really took a pair of scissors to just cut it out. That where it didn't work, man.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. Max Rebo is saying, interesting to see figures going to Amazon, Target, and Walmart don't have as many accessories as the fan channel waves. I think there's a reason for that and everything. Got a little wave right here from Solid Raven Toys. Carlos,
what's going on, man? Good to see you.
Also says the Inquisitors are the only Black Series figures I like, other than the Stormtroopers. So, they got great taste, bro. Got great taste. I can't really go right there. And we've got Commander Bly. It's agreed on the tattered soft goods. Most don't look as realistic as I like. I think that's a good point, because I think even if they used like better material, it tends to look very like I think they should give you like a blank canvas and be like, cut your own, and then everyone's is like individual. So they have to put that on, and we're not responsible for people cutting their hands off.
Yeah, that's true.
It becomes a legal nightmare. Whenever I look at a box that says this ship really doesn't fly, I just think like,
what was the figure? What was the figure that caused Taggate where everyone? Oh, Star-Lord. Yeah, Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Star-Lord. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, there's a tag on the cape.
Yeah, exactly. So there's again, sometimes can they do right? I don't know. Can they do wrong? Absolutely. Max Rebo said, "Cut your own equals 18 plus." Exactly.
I don't know if you could get away with selling an action figure as like 18 plus action figure. That'd be funny.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And he goes, I don't feed these action figures to your babies. Don't feed these action figures to your babies. Absolutely. All right.
What in these four that we've shown did you pick up?
I didn't pick up any.
Oh, okay.
This wave is look. I think they're cool. Once I saw they didn't sell out, I figured that I'll play the long game on some of these. The 11 brother, I think it's kind of cool. Darth Maul, if I catch him at like a really good deal. Just because he'll be in the Shadow Lord packaging. That's kind of cool. But, this is one where I kind of felt like if I saw that it was selling, it was going extremely well, I knew these figures would be hard to get. Whenever I see that they're not doing well on Hasbro Pulse, I'm like, I can wait for these. I think that maybe demand for the show's not up. Maybe we'll see. But right now, I think it's good. These will be available. Yep. I kind of figured that too. And the Inquisitor is a brother, though. Oh, well, then, yeah, I definitely got to buy him then. So we'll move on. Mondo kind of threw out some stuff last week. They were dropping something, and they did. And I'm sorry, this is Mezco.
Steve got a little crazy on his thing. He's trying to trick us up. There's no way you could get a Mondo figure for $160.
Yeah. I was starting thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, man. This is what happens, when we've been pushing my man a little too hard, man. I think
This is also our test to see if like any of them are watching.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Mezco TMNT order. Look, this is probably one of the best photography figures I've seen that they've done. Whoever's back there snapping these photographs did this great. This almost looks like it's like like pseudo animation, stop motion maybe. This is a great looking figure. However they did this, this almost makes you want to purchase it just because it looks so great, man.
Yeah, I mean it's great. It goes well with they released that Turtle 4-pack earlier in the year, right? This is a great Splinter. I think it looks good. And again, but if we look at it and like we talked about the like soft goods, like Mezco does soft goods right.
Yes, now
right?
see that
Like,
tattered look looks fantastic.
like this is how it should look.
Mhm.
So hey, it's a great figure. It's 116. I think it's great. It's on all of the stores. Big Bad,
Yeah.
I think it's still up there. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
this is not one of those limited ones, and I think that look, I'm glad it's not because this
Yeah.
will probably get into some toy photographers' hands, and you're going to see a little better with that. Actually, too, I think there was a magic joke with the 4 baby turtles. They said that this was a hostage pack.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
Baby turtle.
the baby turtle hostage pack.
But I like it. I think it's cool. Again, you're right. Mezco does a great job on their soft goods, and it's. I can't complain. 116. Look, I think also too, you're paying 116. Yeah, the soft goods better look good. So this is where you're paying a little premium, but they're doing the right job for it and everything. I like the cane and everything else like too. I think would you say that this is probably a definitive Master Shredder? I mean, or
I think it lacks a little bit to be the Master Shredder, but I think
yeah, I'm talking about
I
Splinter.
think Splinter. I think it nails it. Well, it also depends on where you lean on the turtles. I think you can have a definitive version of each turtle. Like for me, where I kind of really backed off on buying like Mezco turtles is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive they did a long time ago, the Turtle 4-pack that came in the original VHS packaging. To me, that's a definitive version of the Turtles for Mezco. Like, it's just, they're fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Not from Mezco, NECA.
Yeah.
And so this Splinter, I mean, it looks great. I think that it is definitely a definitive version of one, yes.
Okay, well, like I said, we will see if this one is. Good thing about it's not selling out, steadily available, like Chet said. So you don't have to run out because normally these are the ones where you have to run out. Yeah, that was me reusing a joke like Hasbro. So then we'll flow in now, Mondo, and I will say this: they usually are pretty expensive when this stuff drops. And you understand why. This is one of those things that's also limited to about 1,250 units, which is going to suck. This is when sculpting is done right. This looks like this jumped right out of the animated series that you see on HBO Max. This is fantastic. This is probably, if there's a scope of the year, and this is early part in the year, I think you've got to put this down because all 3 characters are sculpted like his animation. This is fantastic. Lots of parts and accessories and things. Wow, man. This is when figures done right.
Are these in there? I don't remember. Are these in there 1/6 or are these 1/12?
These are the 1/12 scale figures. I don't think these are 1/6. But we'll check for that for you guys. But the minute I saw this, it just blew me away. Where at first I kind of thought, I said, well, is this the animated look or just is this just basically artwork that they're getting prepared for this? No, man, this is how the figures look. I was like, wow. Now they've been doing a good job with some of the Batman animated releases. I will give them that. But this is a lot of sculpting. This is a lot of just great parts right here, man. Wow, this looks like this jumped right out of the animated show. It doesn't look like they've kind of taken liberties with it. It's like a 1-for-1, man.
Yeah, so these aren't articulated. They're just okay. Yeah, so these are literally just
statues almost.
Yeah, you can swap out things on the statue, but
yeah,
they're not
obviously.
They're not articulated.
But
I mean, these look great though.
This is if you're, a fan of the show. Obviously, I've watched the show. It's pretty funny. It's a very interesting show, and but they've done a great job. But yeah, these are, like Max Rebo said, in action figures. No, these are more or less statues. But if you're into this kind of stuff, it sits well on the shelf and everything. And you're right, yeah, you can swap out some figures, some heads, some hands, and everything else like that. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, Harley's 7.8, Ivy's 8.5, Frank is 4.3 to be. So there you go.
Okay, yeah. So they're their own size then. So it's weird that Ivy's 8.5 inches tall though.
I think, well, yeah, that one's 7.8. Well, she's in the show, she's taller, so it makes sense. If you're doing it from a true scale. Frank is my favorite right here, man. If they just did a Frank figure by its own, I would have him because
this makes me want Mondo to do Seymour. Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Too big to display with my 1/12 figures and too small to display with statues. They look awesome. And I love Harley, but I'm going to pass. Yeah.
And obviously, Commander Blythe said, no articulation. Scott Soul will love these.
Yes, he will.
Starting this morning on the Starlight Slander, man. Already this morning. Well, again, a very interesting drop in for the week from them. I think they did a great job. Again, I also think they've done a great job with the photography work in the back and everything, because it does look like something that came right out of the show. Great job, guys, all in all. I'm not a person that purchases Mondo, but I can appreciate this, man. So we'll roll into the next one. And here it is. You had a shot to get this stuff in the week. If you didn't get it, you're going to be looking for this a little bit more. This is when you can tell that people wanted something. It is not available on Hasbro Pulse anymore. $55.99. You've got Muse and Bullseye. And I think these are great looking figures. Especially, I know that you were particularly interested because Muse actually has the blood spatter flex and everything else. A little different than what they would normally do in the Marvel Legends line. They normally don't do a lot of that blood and gloom and everything, but they took this to the other level. And I think this is a great 2-pack. I think these are two essential villains. If you're like, watching the Born Again show and you want to pair that version of Daredevil, or if you want to pair up the standard Marvel Legends version, can't go wrong with both of these characters. I'm glad that it sold out. I'm glad I got the Star Wars and Brew. I'm so glad you did too, man. This was I say this is probably the pack of the week because it did so well, man. I can't hear your mic's off, bro.
Sorry. Yeah, CS, the director, said it. Hasbro actually put blood on these figures. They said, let's make money.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love these two characters. I think this is great. This is one of the first 2-packs they've done that isn't really kind of like a hostage pack. I think you can utilize any of the Bullseye figure is awesome as well.
Yeah.
But I was just I wanted Muse as a figure. I think they did great,
Yeah.
I'm upset that they reused paint that they've used on other figures before. I think they've used white on some figures before. They probably used some black on some figures. These are great, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, I think I don't think you can get upset with this 2-pack. Neither one of them is, I think, a hostage for me. I think both of them are must-have characters. And said Daredevil Reborn is a great show. You know what? I will say Star Wars and Brew, the first season I thought dragged. And I didn't think there was enough Punisher for what his appearance was. I'm hoping that they've actually, because a lot of people don't understand that show was already shot. Then he went back and he did some cuts and everything. Then he added some new scenes. So it was kid bashed, kind of like the Echo series. So it had different tones that didn't seem like it worked. But I'm looking forward to season 2. They've got the team that's had the entire time to be in the writer's room and everything else like that. Hopefully, we're going to get a little bit better results from that. I will pull up CS, the director. That's right. If Hasbro made these with D&D images, imagine a Punisher with those bloody... you know what? I think I don't know if you're going to see that CS with the Punisher, because I think that there's just so many back and forth things with that character. I think they would shy away from that. So I don't know. I am kind of interested to see what they will do with him when he's in Brand New Day, because he's going to get a new figure. I hope they just don't reuse that one they did for Reborn that you can actually get over at Walmart. That's on clearance at the moment. I don't know about Target, but you can definitely find them. I didn't think they did a great job for the Reborn figures, the Daredevil, nor did they do a great job on the Punisher. So I'm hoping they've got a second shot at it. Don't just use the same thing, add a little something extra to them.
Mud Scuffer is live over on Insta. What is going on? Welcome in.
Welcome, Mud Scuffer. Good morning to you. All right. So did you purchase these figures, man?
I did. Yeah, I got a bunch of them, and then everyone said they got them, and so I canceled a bunch.
Good. All right. Well,
yeah, I got my pack. I'm good.
Yeah, I saw that that was placed on, and if you don't know, go over to the Syndicate Discord. And first of all, got to tell you, welcome in. Make sure that you are actually subscribing to the channel, liking, because if you like your Friday morning toy fix, we're here every Friday morning, 10 a.m. then 1 p.m. on the East Coast. And head over to the Syndicate Discord, because a lot of these figures that you see, we've got guys out there really working their behinds off, putting those purchase links. And a couple of them were for Amazon and went directly to the Amazon link. So that's always the one that it's hard for some strange reason. Amazon is hard to track a character on if you actually go to do the search button. So you definitely need those links. So go over to the Syndicate Discord, join over there, start the revolution off, and get your purchase links from there. All right, we'll jump to the next figure. Oh, this one too. This one I thought was going to sell out immediately. It didn't, but it did. Later down the line, this is one we thought we were going to need the buddy system on. Didn't really kind of need the buddy system, but it did kind of go out. Yeah, I like this stream better if it was at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Max, we're from the West Coast.
You know what? Maybe we'll do a Friday special one day and go live at 10 a.m. Eastern. But
I won't be on that episode with you, so.
But we'll have the intro. The intro will be quite a long intro until we go live. So it'll be 3 to 4 hours before we go live. Yeah.
But this is one that these are doing well for Target. Like we were talking about that, about the exclusives and how they're filling retail. This is one example where it's not. These are not filling retail. The retro card backs they've been doing for most of the X-Men figures have been doing well, been selling out, and also they've been. I remember, I think about a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago, the Rogue that was. Like, everybody had a hard time finding. Then they re-released it, and people still had a hard time finding that. Also, just to pre-warn you, while Emma is hitting the shelves soon, you also need to be paying attention, because there is another Target exclusive that's coming down, retro card back, and that's Onslaught. And I've got a feeling Onslaught's going to be record-breaking when it sells out in seconds. It's not going to be just hours or a day later. It's going to sell out to a point. Oh, she popped up and she's still available. All right. Well, as we checked a couple hours ago, it wasn't. So I'm glad they got more restock in. But this one, now Scully, if you watched Toy Box Chronicles on Wednesday night, he was saying that this is one where he said a lot of these parts were reused and everything. And yes, some of the retro stuff is definitely reused. But I like the retro style card back. I think they do a good job on the card back. If you're just an in-package collector, it's got a great sturdy card, unless they're putting it in mailers and everything, and the staff doesn't care. Once you bend these up, you're not unbending them back. But if you get one that's actually flaw free, it's great to hang up on the wall or something else like that. I think these look great. I like the way they're doing these these X-Men characters, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. When we were talking about it with Scully, there was a lot of reused parts, but it's but then they added it because she's clear on the top, right? So I think that's the big thing of that's cool to reuse as long as you make a change to it or you do something with it. Again, take your pick. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool character. I picked her up, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, so I love last year, later in the year, I got the Storm that I thought was fantastic. They had 2 Storms last year. They did great jobs on both of them. But I am really, and then of course also if you're looking for that Weapon X version from the retro card back, that is actually still on discount over on the Target app, and I think it was as low as $16. So, you know, again, you're looking for that character. It's a great character to get. Let's see. The director said she's nice, but I wish they make a Marvel rival versions. You know what? This is the thing that scares me about the Marvel rivals. I think when they do, that's a whole line to itself. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like McFarlane's already doing rivals like statues, and they look good. I think Marvel Rivals obviously is I mean, the game is fun. I played it a little bit, but then I stopped. But it's got a whole different fan base, and some of the characters are really cool. So
I like a lot of updated looks. But I think that if Hasbro did that, that's a whole nother line. I think you could just call it Rivals. You don't even need to call it Marvel Legends. It's just its own line. And there's so many great characters you can pull, so many redesigns that it'll be years we're pulling back from characters. So again, $27.99, and thanks to Real Rural Rhino that he states that it is absolutely, that it's still available, which is good. All right, so
yeah, I think to your point though, I think they did a restock because we checked that earlier this morning.
Yeah, I did, and again, it happens.
Yeah.
Hold on, just trying to get a couple ready for the next slide, and the next slide we roll into. I always knew that. There you go. One more. There you go. Bandai is hitting it, and they got a Shin Godzilla that hits out here. I don't know if have you've seen Shin Godzilla the movie, right?
Yeah. It's cool. This is a cool ass figure. I don't know. I think it's a really cool figure. So,
yep, I think it works.
I do like what they did with the tail. I mean, we can't really see it. You got to assume that this is articulated, right? Like it's looked like it's got like at the base
it's not heavily, but it is. It's kind of like the same way where they have the burning Godzilla. Hands move, legs kind of move, head's a little bit able to rotate.
Yeah. Someone says his tail looks like a limp, but it's a fantastic movie.
yeah, it is actually. I think that there's look, I like that. I know its mouth does one thing that Bandai does, which actually we have to let everyone know that Bandai is a sponsor of the Shadowe Knows Network channel, and these are not paid opinions. But I think the price on this one's great if you're getting into it. $37.99 is not bad. It is still available on Big Bad Toy Store. And it's minimal articulation. Not a lot, but again, it's these are the kind of characters they sit on your shelf, man. And I've got a couple of them, and I just love the different looks. This is you have not seen this movie. It is I know that -1 has been kind of like blowing up, and everyone kind of looks towards that. This is a predecessor to that. It's a very good movie too. It's completely different versions of Godzilla. One thing I will say too is that also the humans in it are very interesting because there's a lot of political, avenues and situations that come up that make it worthwhile. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's worth seeing the movie. And this is a good representation of what the actual film is. And let's see, it says, I love Godzilla and SH Monster Arts, but this dude is a pass. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep. And it says the Godzilla mouth looks like when it's about to eat and everything. Yeah, they got it's again, it's a different version of Godzilla, so it's like a reimagined of what he looks like, and there's several different forms of him. So worth the watch, man. If you haven't been watching any of the Japanese versions or Toho over there, this is worth the watch. -1 is most definitely worth the watch. You will be entertained. From there, we got to take it back. It's throwback, though. This is what I think SH Monster Arts does great, bro. This is, to me, the classic throwback. This is Godzilla 1975. This is, for a lot of people, this is their version of Godzilla. This is the dude in the suit that was putting it down. No CGI involved. He was putting in the work and everything. This is always, whenever I think about this, here in Southern California, we had the $1 Million movie on KCAL Channel 9, and those were based on Saturday afternoons with this version of Godzilla. I love this figure. I am definitely purchasing this figure. He is available on Big Bad Toy Store. Check some other things. I also know there's some also great import sites that you can get this character on. Now this Godzilla's fire. There you go. Yep, there you go. That's my Godzilla. There you go, Star Wars and Brew. Yeah, this one, you look at him and like, this is one. And this is from also the movie Terror of Mecha Godzilla, which is a great film as well too. I love this this version. They've done a great job, even right down to the one thing I love about this Godzilla, Chet, is that even like his eye expression, it's like they pulled that like right on it. Well, Bandai is doing a great job with these versions of Godzilla. You can get from every era. You've got a version. If you don't like that one, you've got another one. If you like the legendary versions, they've got that. Whatever your style is and everything,
I wish this was a throwback to the original Godzilla toy, the old school.
Oh, you're
one.
talking about the I know which one you're talking about.
It's green. His toenails were yellow. Like, but I mean, because it looks exactly like it.
Yeah,
it's a cool figure, man. I think that this is a staple if you're into Godzilla. Like, the middle picture is exactly how I would pose him on my shelf.
Oh yeah. I'm somebody. It's a fun one, and like look, that's I will tell you the one thing about the SH Monster Arts is they don't shy away from the tail and the length, because I know sometimes they're worried about like these are kind of like I'm glad they bend, I'm glad they move, but it is kind of hard to pose them on a shelf. This is more like you need a top display or something for these.
I don't think it does.
Launch, not this one.
It would be awesome if it did. That's what I'm saying. It would be a throwback.
Yeah. But I do know. I think, again, we're not sponsors of them, and we always shy people away. But I have seen that updated version of that character done with Super 7. They did a version of that. So But if you're gonna get it, no, not the same size. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just try to track one original.
I mean, a friend of mine has the original one that's like in great condition, and I've been like debating buying it from him. But it's like perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mudscuffer said, "I hear Blue Oyster Cult Shogun."
There you go. Well, these are coming in the third quarter of the year, but this is an interesting look into how toy manufacturing is done. Not even lying, this was my inspiration for Cookie Monster. This is this is kind of throwback in how the toy industry and toy making is done. I always like looking at test shots, before, when you see the item, this is what they normally give to any of the from the factory. They send you there, it's test shots. You look at the characters, you see the sculpt and everything. You make changes at this point and tell them, well, you need to do this, need to do that. These are all things that go back before they start doing paint masters and everything. But if this is any indication, I can't wait, because I did order these on Big Bad Toy Store. I think it looks great, man. Do you like when companies kind of throw a little bit behind the curtain, Chet, or do you really kind of wish they just let's show us the product when it's finished?
I think it's important to show behind the scenes. I think everyone wants to see that. Like, we all like what we collect, but that also means that we enjoy seeing how what we collect is made, and I think a lot of that is gate kept. Hellboy looks fantastic. Yeah, look, I think this is important. I appreciate that. I appreciate that they did this because there's not a lot of people that do. There's not a lot of companies that do, and it is important. It's what will get you excited to keep doing it. And look, we know that that's something that people want to see because that TV show, How It's Made, got really big, right? So this is something that is obviously, and it's just beneficial to you as the manufacturer producer of these toys, because the more you let people in, the more you're gonna sell, because it's like, oh, I remember seeing that, like I liked it when it was gray, whatever, and then you might get such good feedback that like you save money by not painting them and just releasing them as gray, because there is a place where people want like untouched like versions of these. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. I encourage more people to do things like this, letting people in behind the curtain. It worked for Dorothy and Wizard of Oz, and I don't see why it wouldn't work for anybody in the toy industry.
Yeah. No, this is Mike Mignola's version. I do know there is an animated version, and the animated version is Stu McFarlane. So he's the one that's knocking out. And those look great from McFarlane too. Finally free to hop in and watch Tripping with Toys.
Welcome in.
Good morning to you, sir. But no, these are the ones that's based off of the Mike Mignola designs, the creator of Hellboy. And again, says there's not a lot of people in the toy industry who are willing to discuss how the sausage is made. I think more should. I think that's actually, I think if you I think it makes people take stock and think about it, because this is something where I think the bigger companies kind of slosh over that, right, Chet? I think they do a great job of just saying, hey, here's our toys are, boom, boom, move on. And then there's no real heart or soul left into it.
So I think what it does ultimately is it builds ownership. If you let people into how the sausage is made and understand the process, but speak to the process as a process, right? Don't speak to it as what you do. Speak to it as, here's the product that we make, but this is how it's done, right? So like, I think there's people that will get involved. Welcome in, Meeks. I think there's people that will get involved and talk about how things are made, but then it becomes more of a conversation about how they know how to do it and you don't. And it becomes a conversation around like they put the I in it, right? Well, that's not how you develop and grow people's interest and ownership over what you're producing, because ultimately if you say, here's how this is made, this is what's done, is there any questions, what do you think, and people get to see the process from like start to finish. I think that what really happens is, you'll get involved, you'll see behind the curtains. It's gonna drive you to want to see more, and then ultimately, like, a lot of it is kind of like this Kickstarter concept. So like, people get the ability to like see if it gets funded, and they see all the behind the scenes, and it's like, look, if you have the images and you have the test shots and you have all the stuff that's being done and the molds and everything else, like, put that out there. Who cares? Like, who cares if someone else sees what's going on in the background? It's not like you're doing like top secret shit. I mean, it's like your molds. Like, no one's gonna jack your molds from a picture on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I give you credit on that. That's absolutely right.
That's what I like about Bobby Valla. His personality may rub you wrong, but I love his look behind the curtain with toy production. That's it. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like Bobby Valla brings you in and says, like, and if I remember, he doesn't do it often, but when he does do it, there's a lot of conversation around, these are test shots, and he talks about, I know people want to buy some and I can have them, but you're getting this view into a world that so many people just want to have. So
here's the thing. We'll take a moment on this, because I do think that was a very interesting comment where he said like he rubs people the wrong way. You know what? I think if you have an opportunity to sit down with anybody that's creative, they're going to always rub you the wrong way. I work in Hollywood, and there's a wrong rub every damn day that I'm in Hollywood. There's somebody that, is really exceptionally talented. When you're an artist, there's a lot. You need to have a certain confidence to what you're doing. And a lot of people rub that off on as like an arrogance or something else like that. And that's not what it is.
Yeah.
You're in art, you're torn apart so much that you have to build yourself up.
Yep.
And I think that that's where people like, and if you talk to any great comic book artist, he has a level where it sounds like he's arrogant. No, he's confident because art is, and I can tell you this again, just I had a meeting the other day with a producer, and there's a level where you have to, because they will tear you down, and you're constantly building yourself up. So I think that that's the misconception when you're dealing with artists, and he is an artist just like anybody, because he's basically starting from the conceptual points of drawing his characters to doing all the other ancillary things to run a company. So I think that's where I think when people say, oh well, there's an arrogance to it, no, it's a level of you're protecting yourself and you're building building yourself up a little more.
What we've talked about this like on the action figure frequencies a while ago, but where people need to understand the delineation is it's not cocky if you can back it up, right?
Sure.
You can be arrogant, like, and that could maybe rub people the wrong way, but there's an issue of speaking from knowledge versus guessing when you're talking. And I think, to Hayes's point, I've watched a lot of those behind the scenes with like Bobby Valla, and the reality is like I could see where it would come off as being cocky, but I mean the dude is speaking from a point of like knowledge, so he just knows it. So it's like, okay, so you have to understand that like it's not really cocky anymore. This is he just knows the industry. Does he know it all? No, he doesn't. But he also says he doesn't know it all. So
Yeah, but again, as a working artist, the one thing that I'll tell you is that it is that you will, at every turn, every angle, somebody's trying to tear you down.
All the time,
and so it's not so much. And there's a level where you can. A lot of people will think it's arrogance, but you're your best hype man. If you're not speaking on yourself and you're not actually propping yourself up, no one else is going to do that. Bobby Valla is a collector and a toy maker, not just a company man. He has the experience and education to back it up. And I think everyone else, look, no matter, even if you are in the industry, there's a level of, no matter what level you're at. And I know a lot of people rip on to like the heads of Super 7 and everything like that, but you needed to get there some way.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't just wake up one morning and, you had $50 million, you started making toys. Look at, Brian over at Nacelle. He basically worked the Hollywood angle, and yet he took the time to 100%, get some knowledge in and everything else. And I think he's doing great work himself. So, but he has because he navigates Hollywood, and how he speaks is completely different than how he acts and everything, And it's the same way with like Todd McFarlane. Look, much as I was young in the industry, and I've met two versions of Todd McFarlane. And there was at the hype of the Image days when he was like, on top of the mountain, rock star status. That was not the McFarlane you want to deal with. The McFarlane now is a completely different person. And I think age and experience and things like that do that. But he still had to be his own hype man too. But there's all things. Look, again, I'm sure there will be my agent can probably tell you there's certain meetings I went in, and it was like, yeah, you're a little egotistical there. So I think it happens a lot, man. Let me get on to some of these comments. I was just thinking about that too. I was basically told that the other day. Wait, are your guests saying that in the real world you might have to work with people that hurt your feelings? Commander Bly, not just hurt it, make you take evaluations on it if your feelings were even correct. I will tell you that. Yes, sir. True statement. Everything. I'm here to hype up chat and store. Thank you, Max. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Or going bankrupt 3 times. We'll do that. If you can click on the next one, that'd be great. Chad, you ego? Nah. I'm with Chad on that. I've never seen that from you at all.
Yeah, bro. There's like I said again, only your friends really know that. That's why only your friends gotta know that. But it's one of those things. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot. We have more we have to get through real quick.
Yeah, we do. Let's roll on the next slide too. Again, another this is Lobster Johnson. If you actually reading the Mike Mignola book, he's a great character and everything. Throwback character to Pulp Errors. This is one of the test shots you're doing. Again, both figures up. You can actually see the actual painted versions and everything that they've got up on the actual Big Bad Toy Store. $59.99. Up in price a little bit, but I'm hoping the payoff is good because I had several of these Hellboy figures from different companies, all because I'm a big Mike Mignola fan, and I'm gonna see what Boss Fight now that we've got the whole Red Sonja thing out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't affect their sales too.
Yeah, I jumped the gun on this. I got to go back in and reorder these.
Yeah, no. So that's again the whole thing.
That's on me. Sorry, Boss Fight.
Waiting for the full story to come out. It's always hard. You get kind of knocked out for this. Well, actually, I'm pretty much the most humble person that's ever lived. I know he is actually. You know how I know that? Because he's told me that actually. And it says his ego. I did catch that too. I saw you read it. It's perfect. I love the Jabba the Hutt egos, so I may be blasted.
Biased.
All right. Oh, biased. Okay, yeah, I can't. You know what? I'm seeing this chat right here, man. It's killing me today. But yeah, you definitely can be. All right, so we'll move on from
Commander Bly is humble and he won't let you forget it. Yep.
Man,
sign of true humility, man.
Exactly. Only
Yeah.
We'll move on to SH Figuarts and the NBA are collabing. I did see from a couple of people, I think also Rocco the Great and everything. There are people kind of losing their collective minds about this. And a lot of people, of course, look, I know One Piece is controversial. It's probably one of the most read animes all over the world, and also the anime show
as well.
It's fantastic. I don't mind when companies do this. Look, I think that you've got to get I think you've definitely got to put your characters in different arenas and situations. Yeah, Chad aren't humble. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know a Chad, and he seems like a humble dude.
Here's the thing about this one, Commander Bly. He says, "Is anyone excited for this?" I don't get it personally. People are pissed, like Max Rebo says, that they exist. But at the end of the day, this is just two properties looking to make even more money. So
yeah, of course. But now here's the thing:
One Piece is like the most watched anime, the most read anime. It's massive. Netflix has it. Like everyone has it. And NBA is massive. People like it. People watch it. They fight over laundry all the time. So put the laundry on One Piece, and you make a lot of money. So
and look, me, I'm a massive being born and raised in Southern California, a massive Los Angeles Laker fan. And
you do like that Laker laundry.
I will be 100%. I eat, drink, and breathe them, bro. It's a whole life and everything. But
I mean, look, I used to be into sports until someone broke it down to me and said, "Look, if you're into a team, it's fine. Just remember, you're fighting over which laundry wins the battle."
Well, I just think that's right. Always somebody else's perspective.
Yeah,
and I think that in all forms, fans of is like the same way that they'll rag on like people buying action figures. I think love what you love, do what you do. I think this is a perfect blend if you're into, and a lot of fans are into sports fans are into action figures now too. So
and I don't
brings
that's why I don't understand the outrage though. Like I get it. I mean, people are upset.
I think people are saying it's selling out. I think people are saying like this is selling out.
But no one's saying that about Hasbro making Transformer sports helmets.
No, there are people saying that, just not as loud. But
but that's what I'm saying is like keep the outrage, like keep that energy though. Just keep that energy, right? Because like what if One Piece was dressed up as Spider-Man, you probably wouldn't be as upset.
Oh, I'm sure somebody probably would too. I'm sure you can find someone, but I think it's just like it's a big corporation doing a cash grab. Both corporations. Let me explain to you. It's doing a cash grab. It's both. It's not just like where it's just like, oh no, this is outrage for one. It's like, look, the creators of One Piece and the company who probably manages that is like, hey, we're going to make a lot of money, and the NBA is like, this gets them into an avenue and fandom. And look, with sports, you and I both know this one thing is that because of the TV packages and deals, it's harder for people to. It used to be you could watch a bunch of games for free on local television. You can't do that anymore. So now maybe this is a way they think of bridging the gap over to get younger fans to actually watch sports again. So it's an experiment. These are Rosscon pickups for me. Yeah, Max, I hope they actually do show up there because I don't want to spend full bolts on these. So if I don't, that's great. The people I saw were mad. These made,
I think he's saying they were made that they made these instead of like characters that didn't make from the line.
Yeah. Well, how do we not know they're still not going to do that? You can't just throw out. Look, this like One Piece. If you watch that, there's some characters. There's a certain amount of characters on the boat. It's not like there's endless characters. This is not like a giant cruise ship where there's hundreds. Of characters,
you could go extremely deep, but then like, where's your cutoff point, right? Like one episode of One Piece has like 4 to 5 different things happening, and it's like, oh, which character do you want to make?
And what happens when you burn through all the characters? And then all you're doing is retreading. So there's a wait and see. But I understand. Look, be upset about this, and the same thing where Commander Bly puts this on the screen. I'll put this on the screen right now, where it says that's because the Transformer NFL bots are awesome. Yes, but did you see the soccer ones that they're doing for the World Cup? And it's a soccer ball, and people were like getting outraged about that. So like. Yeah, look, these corporations gonna make money, man. It's like, what's the point here? It's like, it's like we're just gonna leave it all off on the table. They're gonna try to do everything, bro.
Yeah.
So, but look, some of the other characters, you get all kind of characters. You got the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks. You've got the Boston Celtics, obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Golden State Warriors, and there is an actual basketball actual rim, which I would get this because the one they did for starting lineup no, it was terrible. And the matter of fact, those figures, now that's when people should have got upset. And if you look at the McFarlane versions that he's doing for his, look even worse than the Hasbro ones because they don't even look like the NBA players. Like, I don't know what McFarlane is doing in this next line that he showed over at Toy Fair. But I like the hoop, man. I think it's really cool, man. I think it looks like an actual NBA regulation hoop. So hey, man, SH, keep doing what you're doing, Bandai. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Let the haters go. From there, Super 7, talk about the hate.
Oh my Christ.
Super 7 is keep on doing some Thundercats. Now they are, I didn't think they were going to go this deep in the line, but they are going deep in the line. I will tell you though, the Ultimates, thanks to a couple of guys on Instagram, are starting to show up at some of the Ross, the Ultimate editions. That's not good. But they got Zach, and they've got a couple other characters. Now, this is where I gotta give it to Super 7, where I will never agree with them. $84.99 is not worth $84.99.
It's like, have they ever used one of their own products? Like, this is like, I feel like Super 7 is the McDonald's CEO of the toy industry. Like, there's no way that if they physically use their own product, they would be like, yeah, this is not worth $84. They'd be like, I don't know how to attack this. What do I do with it? Like, this is.
I don't think that Brian Flynn would have a job if he played with his toys, just like the CEO for McDonald's. I don't think he would have a job instantaneously after that. Look, $84.99 is a cash grab.
And why are they both the same cost when one obviously has more with it?
Well, just because again, Thundercats are going to Thundercats.
Yeah.
Super 7's going to Super. McDonald's CEO loves his product. You would think so.
Yeah, that's why
which look, we normally don't get in this, but how to actually get rid of your job in like 30 seconds. It's like that was the greatest example of the week. And maybe it's a good thing that they don't actually play with their toys on camera. I think maybe the CEOs take that example and first of all, don't get on camera. If you're a CEO, don't get on camera. That might be the best thing for you. look, these are cash grabs. 84.99. They're not worth the money. You know,
this is dumb.
Yeah,
like
I like the old man Munra, but like no,
that's not
$84.99.
even like that. This is
man. Now, if it would have came with the sarcophagus and the cup, I would have been okay. I can understand 84. Just the character itself, nah, man. You come on, man. You know. They got it. Like this is one of those. You know, we're gonna have the guys behind the scene do better. We just have a actual image pulled up on the screen like do better because this. Come on, this sucks. And they gotta have to do the replay crew for this, gents. Hey, no, thank you, Sue John. Appreciate it, man. And then from there, the last of the night or the last of the morning, actually, which we've been getting more requests for this. Everyone is kind of like, saying, hey, man, where's the wrestling figures? Hey, it's a big phenomenon. You guys are like passing this up. We've been trying to add these a little bit more in and everything. And the Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, is they've got a great figure. And if you're going to purchase any of the wrestling figures, I always tell people, do the Ultimate line. It is the best of the best.
So I want to do clarity real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just checked. It looks like they did an update. So you can get all 4 of those Super 7 figures for $280. And the only figure that's $85 is Zach's. Jagara, Mumra, Wizra, those are all $65 each.
All right, so they must have lowered it down.
No, they did. This morning it was all listed as $85, but they lowered.
Well, maybe that was an incorrect statement, and actually, I'm glad they caught them. Still at $65, I still don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. So, anyways, sorry, just wanted to do that correction. So
no worries.
But yeah, back to this.
Yeah, look, I think the Ultimate line is normally if it's a character, it comes with belt, multiple hands, different heads. This one also they usually come with some form of a soft good or something. Mm-hmm. This is if you're going to purchase one, this is the one. $35.63 is
this. Okay, this is the exact thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you get all of this for $35.
Exactly.
Okay, so all of that for $35.
Mm-hmm.
And this is $65.
Well, again,
so 35 and then 65.
Yeah.
And then 30. And it's like what we talked about. I think that Mattel grabbing the licenses that they got, right? In the DC license, and then being able to produce the ultimate. If you've never used an ultimate version of Mattel, like it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Articulated everything.
Yeah. And this is $35. So if you translated this to Hasbro pricing, you would have to add $20 to $30 more on this. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we see this drop. But this is a great release of a Cody Rhodes figure. I think it's good. And $35, honestly, the 63 cents is a little weird. But
that was an Amazon price. So one thing I will say is that a couple of weeks ago they had the final boss. And if you got the final boss, this is going to go perfectly with the final boss character of The Rock. So again, this is when they do the line right. They normally have a basic WWE figure for anyone else that wants to pay a lower pricing for it, and that's fine. But these are more or less for the collectors that are really, and there's a lot of wrestling enthusiasts that's there. Cody Rhodes, aka Guile. I don't know if that's going to work out too well for him.
After the trailer, I don't think he wants to be known as that.
Yeah, but I like this. I think they're doing good. These, again, if you're going to purchase a wrestling figure, this is the figures to buy. We were at a Target. I told the story before. We were at a Target, and one lady was stocking the shelves. She was like, "This is the 4th time today I'm stocking the shelves. People just love these figures." That Ultimate line, they've done a great job. They really don't do miscues. Mattel, great job, guys. I got to give you credit on that. So, that's our weekend review. And, good. We don't cover everything. So, let us know if there's something else out there in the comments that you guys want us to cover throughout the week or something else. Let us know. That's the best way you can do it is put it in the comments. Go over to our Instagram. And we love all of our Shadowe Network members. That's right. The Shadow Elite, ever growing. The Syndicate, absolutely appreciate you guys. And all the prospects out there that's hustling and doing the things you do. We appreciate them for that. Got a couple of key things we're going to do. We'll drop up. Got to tell everybody, hey, 100%. Want you to join the syndicate. That's right, the fastest growing Discord that's out there, the syndicate. How do you get to speak to us even after the show, even in more ways? Max Rebo Experience does say Carbonites with another drop this week. Yes, and actually, we're going to, I know Tommy over the Bliss Transmission covers it a lot, but yeah, we're definitely going to do that along with the Cube Squadron. We love all the independent guys out there that's doing their stuff, especially in the Star Wars community. So thank you, Max Rebo, for bringing it up. The syndicate, again, how do you get to speak to the guys over at the Starlight Digest podcast when the show ends? You can go over to the Discord. How do you speak to Tommy about all things Star Wars? Go over to Syndicate Discord. How do you do that for SKN? You go over there. You want purchase links. You want toy photography. It's all there. You want to talk about all points of fandom from comics to toys to movies. It's all there. So make sure you guys are going over to the Syndicate Discord and actually joining. We love to see people over there, and we are all readily available on there to speak to you. From there, hey man, we call it Syndicate Friday. There's a reason why we call it Syndicate Friday, because our syndicate is the network of Bliss Transmissions, the Starlight Digest podcast, and SKN Shadowe Knows Network. And we are just the actual lead show, but at 5:30 today, Tommy is getting into the March Madness feel. Not sports. March Madness into the clones. That's right. He's got the Order 66 edition. And you're going to go over to the Blitz Transmission channel. In fact, if I don't, this show will magically transport you over there, but he's not starting till 5:30, but we'll send you over there anyways.
Yeah, I don't think we can send it over there. Let me
yeah,
check.
I think it might be too early to do that, but
who knows? Let's
find
out.
Make sure you guys are tuning over to Blitz Transmissions at 5:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 8:30 p.m. on the actual East. Make sure you guys are going over there, checking them out. Tommy's going to do that bracket. And look, he did the Black Series Most Wanted. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what he's going to do on this, man. I'm looking forward to that. Commander Bly, thank you, sir. For his 199 for the Syndicate Rise Up. There you go. Thank you, sir. So, again, 5:30 on the West Coast for Tommy and 8:30 on the East Coast and everything. And guess what? Tommy is the lead-in show to Pixel Plastic and Ink tonight. This is the question that hit us. Chet, where's the HasLabs? It's March.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna be getting into that tonight. The HasLab drought. We're running into March. Typically, we've seen talk or communication, anything about that. We're also going to be getting into DC Lantern trailer. Interesting that they didn't call it Green Lantern, but we'll get into that. Everyone's favorite segment tonight, Pre-Order Mafia, should be pretty interesting. We've seen the communication going out throughout all of our shows between Toy Chest, Sarlacc, Pixel Plastic, Toy Box. Everyone's saying Sleep with the Fishes. We've tried the rest. Syndicate is the best. That is correct. We're also going to get into some plastic news, sponsored by plasticnews.com tonight. And you'll see some fresh faces because you see ours all the time. But Mr. Dr. Brinkley, Rad, Mr. Alexander Storm, and myself will all be on tonight talking, and while we read over Lord Darth Moocher's Hasbro HasLab pitch on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think tonight, look, it's great to have a lead-in show. I'm super excited about this. When it was announced and Tommy said he was going to do it, I was like, finally, like, this is great. Like, let's load it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, all that tonight starts at 5:30, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and that is going to be with Blitz Transmission. Then it'll be transported magically over to us at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And we look forward to having you guys there. I mean, I love, when we do that show, there's so much conversation, and Pre-Order Mafia, is my absolute favorite.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. And then a couple of key things. Some events will be on, and we didn't have time to update the slide and everything. So I kind of took the pressure off of Steve today. But two things are on this Saturday coming up. The Inland Empire Strikes Back, a Star Wars event in Riverside, California. And Darth Moocher and Scott Solo said they will be there. And that is taking place in Riverside. And you're going to be able to see the Starlight Digest guys. And that's kind of cool. And then from there, who's mentioning Mondo has labs? I know he loves that, man. Mondo here dies well on playset. Wow, boy, they're giving it to him this morning, bro. And then later on that night in a secret location is gonna be the Survivor Arcade. They're doing a animal fundraiser for the Fallbrook Animal Sanctuary, a non-kill and completely volunteer-based organization that they do work for. They look for homes for animals, and they make sure that every animal gets a home. And if you guys want to donate to that, which is always good to donate to someplace, you can do that with the link that's on the screen, or you go over to holygrailtoys.com, and there's a big button on that screen that says donate to that. You know, again, volunteer work, animals, it's a no-win thing. You know, you got an extra $1 to put in. It's always good to actually do somebody that cares, because people that love animals are unique. So you got to give credit to it. From there, March 13th to the 15th, Scully will be at TFCon, and we use the term Scully. And that's going to be in the Burbank Marriott in Burbank, California. So the 13th through the 15th, we'll be in that area, I think, to have lunch with him or something before he goes. And it will
also
be after 2 p.m.
Quick breaking news. We'd like to welcome Solid Raven just joined the Discord. So welcome in, Carlos.
Solid Raven.
Post about it. Carlos has a great Kickstarter coming up, man.
He
Like
does.
we'll get you set up in there. You can hit up our mods.
And
Anybody
Carlos has been on the show.
Yep.
Toy
Carlos
Box
has
Chronicles
been on
7
the show.
times, several times.
You can go back and look those over. You know, he's doing what I think everyone needs to do is get back at it, reapproach it differently, and come back to Kickstarter. So we're excited to see that. But yeah, Carlos, welcome to the syndicate. Welcome to the family, man.
I will always say the thing I love about that is bet on yourself.
Absolutely.
You're going to do something, you never go wrong betting on yourself. So thank you. Then from there, March 27th to the 29th, that's right, we got our hotels, we got the plane flights, we got the stuff already pre-packed and everything. We're going to be heading to Duluth, Georgia, to Toy Atlanta. That is right, one of the premier toy events around the country. And we got some people that I've also heard that's going to be joining us from the actual Discord. So I'm looking forward to meeting some people in person and hanging out with them that weekend. But we've got, we will do our first live remote from there, but simultaneously at the same time, Scully will be here in Southern California, and he is going to WonderCon, and we're going to try to see if we could link up and do a double remote. So it depends on Wi-Fi in Anaheim. You know, all things depend on Wi-Fi. But we will try to get on camera, so he'll be walking around. So not only will Recon Rad be in Toy Atlanta, we've got Scully got links that will be walking through to WonderCon. So we're going to see how that works. The first time we're doing that at 2 different locations on 2 different sides of the planet. Steve and everybody in the back is going to have to do a little bit extra work for that one. So, and we will also let you know that this our upcoming events are all sponsored by and powered by plasticnews.com, your premier actual news for anything all toys and all entertainment. Go over to plasticnews.com, and if you want to know what the schedules are like, that's one of the best places to go and actually go over there. You can see every event in the United States. But let's say you don't want to do that, right? And you've kind of gotten to the situation again. Toy Atlanta, Plastic News. Thank you. You know, we're getting primed up for that, so we've got that coverage going. But you need an app that even is like, you know, takes that one step Plastic News a little bit further. Then toyhunter.com, which is going to be featured at Toy Atlanta 2026. That's right, it's going to be featured there. You can actually start running to, you get your badges, Toy Atlanta badges, you're walking through and everything, and then you can actually probably get some radar. And we'll see any of those beacons that'll be coming out, all kind of new stuff. Man, I've been playing around with this app, and I got to tell you something. They are busting their humps on this. I love that I can get my toy news from here. I love that I can put my entire collection through. It is live on the actual Apple store, so you can actually get that down. They're working on it there is a beta test right now for Android. So don't think that you're out of the loop. If you don't have the, you know, an iOS phone, you can still actually try it right now, because I am not an iOS person. I actually love Android. And it is pulling on my phone, and see, it even gives me this little nice screen and everything else like that. Oh, I even got a login bonus right here, man. I love this kind of stuff, man. This is the kind of thing that gives you updates, notices, man.
Yeah, the Android version is a little bit different. We've been told that Google just requires different things to go live. But so realistically, if you have an Android, go on to toyhunter.com, link in the chat, sign up at the form for Google. Then you'll receive an email from support@toyhunter.com that then gives you the link to download it. It just has to add you to the version that Google allows them to. The iOS app is fully up and running. There is a big update coming. We've been told that they are adding Toy Scout, which is like a bot searching for your action figures. So if you're waiting for that HasLab drop or the Black Series drops, you put that into Toy Scout. It then signals you, gives you push notification as soon as it hits the website. Now that is going to be in beta, so you have to be a premium member, but it's in beta. So while it's live and working as a premium member, you get to utilize that. They're also releasing Radar in the upcoming release, which is the convention version of the app. It's just to get it out there to do server testing to see how well it is, but you will be able to signify if you're interested in going, and then you'll get notified when that goes live. You'll be able to see all the conventions lined up, and then their roadmap just gets crazier and crazier. And if you're tired of your collection being hostage and you want to be able to get your data, if you decide you want to leave Toy App or you need to put it in somewhere else, you can export all of your data. So there's a lot of integrations that they're working on, but the most important piece with Toy Hunter is you don't have to use separate apps. You can search for what you're looking for, and it'll give you the prices of live eBay listings as well as sold completed eBay listings all in one app, so you don't have to leave. So if you're doing that debate back and forth on prices at conventions like Toylanta, knowledge is power, knowledge is in your hand, and that is what Toy Hunter provides. So check it out. I
was even talking to one of the guys over there. He was told me about that they've been experimenting with maybe like a toy health kind of thing where you can actually log your steps in while you're doing that too. They said they've been working on it. They say that's far off and everything, but they want to make sure it's the app for all things and everything else. So if you're in there toy hunting and everything, you get your steps in. Now that's again, they're trying to keep healthy toy collectors around. What's going on with that, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we've seen some advanced versions of it. The thing that I like about the convention side is that it shows you the panel listings, everything else, as long as it's provided.
Yeah.
So, and then, ultimately it'll roll out to the full social media version of Toy Hunter, which is what they ultimately had planned. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Again, hey, well, you've spent your time with the best. I guess you're gonna actually watch one of our buddies down at Bliss Transmissions later on, and then come back for us. Pixel Plastic Inc. We do this every Friday, 10 a.m. In the Pacific Coast, and then 1 p.m. on the East Coast. Went a little long today, but guess what? Nothing's wrong with going long when you're talking about toys and having a good time, man. We appreciate you guys. We want to see you guys pop in for Bliss Transmissions, and we will see you back at Pixel Plastic and Ink tonight at 7 p.m. right back here on the Shadowe Knows Network. It is Syndicate Friday, everyone. Make sure you guys are actually signing up for that Discord, and actually right now make sure you're subscribing to the channel. And all I gotta say is that I don't end the show, because there's a man that ends it better than I do, and that is Mr. Chet Maddox.
Sir, thank you to everyone that has been watching with us on Good Morning Toy Box. Good morning, good afternoon. I am your lovely, gorgeous host, Chet Maddox, along with Alexander Thunderous Storm. And like always, keep chasing that plastic dragon. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Until then, keep collecting, and we'll talk to you later. Later.
Ay, 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 ay. I just wanna have fun. Come and beat me up.